What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Deconstructing podcast. My name is David, and I'm your host of this legendary podcast where we talk about a little bit of it all. That's why it's called the Deconstructing podcast, because we deconstruct topics and we do a little bit of it all. Today, we got a good one. Today, we got a little one that I've been wanting to do for a while. And for those people that are into the mystery things of whatever realm, whatever the situation is of the unknown, we got a little good, nice episode. I'm into those little mysterious stories that we don't know what the hell happened, but something happened, you know what I mean? And today we got a story about the Roanoke Island mystery. Maybe I'm saying it right. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. If you're listening to this podcast, which I'm pretty sure you're definitely going to be enjoying, that's why you got to hit that like, share, talk about it, tell the world, go to your socials, gather your family up, put them all together and say, hey, listen, you're going to be entertained because we're listening to the legendary deconstructing topic, and he's talking about Roanoke Island mystery. And again, if you're listening, if I'm saying it wrong, hit me up. Roanoke is Roanoke, Island mystery. And basically, this mystery, and I'm just gonna give you a little because I want to keep it simple for those people that are listening that never heard about this story. It's definitely an interesting story where somewhere in 1580 something, I believe 86, 87, 88, somewhere in this part of the country. I'm not going to say United States because United States did not exist back then. Come on, but I'm just saying in context, in this part of the world, there's a little island of what we call North Carolina called Roanoke Island. For those people who are living in this country, hey, listen, history might not be your expertise. You just happen to enjoy whatever it is this country offers today. But in order to get here, there's a lot of stuff that happened hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So Roanoke Island is one of those things. And keep in mind, we are in year 2025. So in 1587, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to recall here. I'm trying to pull out my notes here because I did a little bit of notes because, again, I want to keep it simple. In that year, in that little island, the understanding is that group of English colonists. And when I say English colonists, it's people from England who took a boat, right? There was no planes back then. Maybe there was. Who knows? We live in a matrix, right? Who knows? Whatever. Took a little boat or a big boat and decided a nice ship. Boom. And landed on this side of where we at now here, United States, where I'm doing this recording. And wow, we are talking about back then days just to get from England to North Carolina. Now, my thing is this. I don't know if these English settlers is what they call it, so colonists. I'm not sure if their aim was to land there, but they landed there. And what happened was that in this little island, we're talking about like 115, 16, 17 people in this little island, whatever the case might be, trying to build a new world because keep in mind, whatever was happening in England, there were a lot of people that were not happy. But, word in the streets. Word in the streets is that, hey, there's a piece of land, this land that we could go, but it's somewhere in the Atlantic, across the Atlantic, and they decided, we out. We out. We just grab our motetes, if you don't know Spanish, our stuff, and just be like, you know what? Let the ship guide us to wherever it needs, and then boom, here we go. And we got this little island, Roanoke Island off North Carolina. Now, North Carolina, I'm in New York City, so North Carolina is in the south. We're talking about, 8 hours if you kind of take a car, road trip. You know what I mean? So you got this little island with 100 and something people chilling, drinking, eating, doing whatever they do. And the leader of that little group, that little clan or whatever it is, decided, hey, listen, I'll be back because something's going on. We need more stuff. I'm going to go to England, go to mother home because, hey, now keep in mind, when these individuals landed here, there was already natives that were living here. And when I say native, what we call native Indian, I call them, native people living in this side of the world. Hey, listen, different tribe, different people. Hey, let's get it. Party time. So this individual decided, hey, and I believe it's what they call John White, if I'm not mistaken. Now, North Carolina, Roanoke Island, keep in mind that back then there was really no name, whatever it is that they call it, but just straight up land. So they decided, these colonists, these 100+ people, to say, now this is our territory. We're going to have a governor. He's going to run stuff up, whatever it is. So this individual, John White, decides, hey, I'll be back. We're talking about 1587. I'll be back. These days when we said we'd be back, couple of minutes, couple of hours, this individual came back a couple of years later, 2 or 3 or 4 years later, if I'm not mistaken, to the island. And guess what? I know you guys been anticipating, like, okay, David, what's going on? What happened to these 100+ people in this little island? Poof! The individual John White comes back, and there was nobody home. And that's why it's called the Roanoke Island Mystery. So in this little island, off the coast of North Carolina, these hundreds of plus of people doing their thing, like, hey, like if it's 1999, let's party up. Hey, let's go. Woo. Trying to live a little new life that they couldn't have in England, but it was struggling. And sadly, my understanding is that there were little tension between the natives that were living in this land and the English side. Now, keep in mind, let's just be straight up here. The native, for the most part, are people brown. They got color. You know what I mean? And to see this group here from England who are white, or what they consider, or what they call white. So there was tension off the bat, just that you look different. There was tension between those natives. And we already know that the history of the United States, especially early, and when I say United States, this part of the world, when it became the 13 colonies, and then when it started to expand, there was always the natives, Indians, or the natives that were here, versus in the beginning, which what we call settlers, the people that was coming from Europe to this country. Then as time passed, then we became Americans. Whatever the case might be. There's some little beef already. Hey, you look a little bit different, my friend. So when this individual came back, he's like, what happened? What the hell happened to my people? They're not here in this little island. And one of the, how can I say, theories would have been, hey, since there's some tensions between some of the native, and I believe one of them, because I think there's another island called the Croatan Island. Am I saying that right? Croatan, that's Croatan. That there could have been some beef, and you got to keep in mind, you're talking about hundreds of people versus a little bit more of hundreds of people. This tribe that's called the Croatan. So one of the theories would have been is that, hey, those people just got wiped out. But my understanding is that I believe they might have found bones of one, but if you look at the village, hey, it was abandoned as like if nothing happened. They disappear in thin air, Some people might say, hey, listen, they starved to death, disease, you already know, they're into a territory that they don't know, and they just happen to like, poof, whatever, went to the waters, swam away, something to that effect. There's always that theory that they might have said, hey, I'm out. This island, it's a little bit too small, and what we seeing across, it's a lot of territory with a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff, so let's just go. So imagine this. You're this individual, by the name is John White, and decide, wow, what the hell is going on? Where's my people? And then the thing is this, that because of this mystery, you got the tinfoil hat people that say, hey, listen, something happened. Because the only thing that you could say that there's some type of evidence, my understanding is that someone put the word Croatan, yeah, I'm sorry. If you're native and you're from that village in that area and I'm saying it wrong, I get it. If I get an arrow somewhere, like, I apologize. I'm just trying to say the word Croatan. Croatoan. They carved that in this little tree or something to that effect. So some people might say that they were, how can I say, moved against their will, right? And again, if you're John White and you be like, oh man, you're already speculating or assuming that something happened with it. They had some little beef with the natives, and that's when you take up arms and say, hey, what's going on? But just the fact that for hundreds of years, where the sometimes I say certain things, but archaeologists, scientists, historians, all that above just never understood or never really can pinpoint what exactly happened. Because again, when John White came back, he came back with some peoples. He came back, hey, with some supplies. He was ready to go. Where's my people? And they drawing little maps and little things on going on and to look for these individuals. And I think the recent news, and once again, the Roanoke Island mystery, people disappear, 100 and something. People don't know. Imagine going to an island or somewhere in a boat. There's the fog, there's the smoke, there's a fire still lit, but there's no sign of life. Wow. What happened? So, recent news or recent theories have been, and again, it's been theories that perhaps, hey, they died. They got killed. They went up on themselves and say, okay, this dude, John White, is taking a little bit too long and I'm starving. And, we just don't got the supplies to kind of get to the mainland because this is an island that's not in the mainland of what we call United States. So where are we going? Where we at? And it looks like more and more the speculation or the theory would be that they assimilated with the Croatan tribe, basically. And the reason would be that even though in this part of the world, in what we call United States or modern United States, is that the fact that, they're just like in any part of the world, when there's different tribes, there's different beef, there's different problems, there's wars, there's battles, whatever it is. My understanding has been is that there have been natives in this country who seem more friendlier and welcome to these settlers. Because keep in mind, even though these tribes in this part of the country, they look a little bit different, they still are a little kind of brownish. To see somebody in a lighter color, you be like, what the happened to you? Was you not in the sun? What, is there a sun in your country? I don't know. You need a tan. But the fact is that they are natives in this part. They had that little beef with other tribes and native that were others. So basically, it looks like these colonists decided, hey, let me go here with these people. They cool. They could protect us. And it seems that the first or the most clear, or at least the theory that it looks like it's making more sense as more and more and more information comes up, because even though this happened like hundreds of years ago, we're talking about 400, 500 years, whatever it is, 1580s, it seems that more information comes up every often, and it's shedding light, because you got to keep in mind that there's a lot of tribes, right, where they basically, their history is based on oral history, just word of mouth. There's some that, hey, listen, there's 10 people that just oral history, they pass it down, but then there's those who document it in paper. And for certain documents to come up that are verified that, hey, listen, these people assimilated, these hundreds of colonists, they were chilling with us. Hey, they became us. They were welcome to the cookout. You know what I mean? And that's how that became. And perhaps this is the story where I guess people leave it open, because, again, some people might say that, hey, listen, some aliens from outer world just came, whoop, and just took them. People are always going to speculate and throw some theories or whatever the case might be. I like to believe that they assimilated, and once they assimilate, basically, they just say, you know what, we ain't doing this English thing no more, man. These people over here, these Croatan people, they mad cool, man. Like, just, go back to England, whatever, or just bring more, I could understand that. Especially if you feel protective from these tribes versus the other tribes that might feel a little bit different otherwise. So we making it happen. Hope you enjoy this little mysterious thing of the Roanoke Island mystery. Again, some might say that it's one of the oldest cold case in this side of the world and what we call modern United States, because there's no definite answer. Something happened. We just don't know the definite answer. But hey, listen, by all means, feel free to share. Feel free to go online and, there's a lot of documentaries, podcasts, and I'm bringing it on light to my audience, my people, my family, because it's a little interesting story, which is hundreds of years old. Let's make it happen. Roanoke Island Mystery. Hope you enjoy this. Once again, feel free to share and all that. Hit the like button, comment, reach out to make donations, all that good stuff. We make it happen, and I'm out of here. Peace. I'm out.